So actually, no. So the Tut Kufis Sikha is from before this. I believe it's, if I'm not mistaken, the Sikha, the Mugid Sikha of Tut Kufis is from a whole Kufa of Sikhs. It's from a whole month. Nissen Lamed Gimel. Dachtich. The whole Nissen that Rebbe spoke about that sugya.
So then what was the
Hey, Alf Nissen, Achim Shapesach, huh?
What was the Chiddush of the later Sikha? I'm not sure where it is.
No, the Sikha Mugid Likut the Sikhs, the Rebbe was Magia it as a chelik, part of the Siyam HaRambam. The first Siyam HaRambam, when was the first Siyam HaRambam? And hey, what day? What day? Yud Nissen. Hence, yeah. So when the Siyam happened, so B'chlal, that whole year, hey, the Rebbe started Shturim in Rambam. Rebbe had many Fabrengens. You see, Teres Menachem, there's like 5 Chalok in there. Like Weimer Fabrengen, Chavtev, there's many Fabrengens. And really part of the Fabrengen is about Rambam. But when the Siyam Rambam happened, so that Kufa, the Rebbe gave out over the next few weeks, there was that Kufa Nissen year, almost every week the Rebbe gave out another Hadrin. First, the Rebbe printed the Hadrin from 10 years before, Tafshin Lamed Hey. He spoke about it earlier in the year, right? There was Magia, the second time the Hadrin with the Hisafis. The first part of the Hadrin came out in Lamed Hey, Lamed Vav. And now there was Magia Chelik Beis and Gimel of the Hadrin, the big Hadrin, Tafshin Lamed Hey. And then, on Yud Alef Nissen itself, the Rebbe said a Hadrin. And the Rebbe was Magia, that Hadrin, a few weeks later, I think it came out for Emer the Likut. Sheiches to Emer and Pirkei. And then for Bahar B'chul Koisai that year, the Rebbe gave out the Tzeicham B'chul Koisai, which is also Hadin al Rambam. It's Hadin al Rambam and Meseches Ksuvis Dachtich. And it's I think in pages it's the longest Sikh in Likutei Sichos, if I'm not mistaken. The Sikh of Tut Kufis. Other halakim, the words and letters are more dense. Some of the Ken Ayin Zayin. Today you can find out exactly how many characters are, how many letters. But I think in real estate, in pages, I think that sikh is the longest sikh in the Kodesh Sikh. So if you're looking for a longest sikh and feel good about it, you learn the long sikh, there you go. You have it. Kind of Halchin Bamidbar. Say that it's negay. You can still learn the sikh of Hashem B'chul Kaisei. Or maybe you just learned that last week. That's why you're all excited. Pashtus. Okay.
So it's the same time that the Rebbe gave out the Sikha that when the Rebbe mentions it here.
No, that came out. Hey, we're in Lamed Hey. Mendel, halt stark. But he's interesting. We mentioned this in an earlier Maamar. It was something unique that happened this year at Lamed Hey. 3 Maamarim that the Rebbe said on Rosh Chodesh, and each one had a unique story, right? Remember we spoke about it. When was it? Rosh Teves, I think Chanukah. Yeah? So this is the next one. It's a big one. This one you could hear it on tape. You could hear it on the audio. The Rebbe comes into the Fabrengens. So first of all, like most Rosh Chodesh Fabrengens, it was Svadus Pisaimis. No, with the Niggin, Svadus Pisaimis. This was sometimes the Rebbe came out from the oil and the Rebbe says to me Fabrengen. Here, Dachtzach the Rebbe Dav Mincha, then Ma'ariv, and then announce Fabrengen. Even after Ma'ariv, like Mamish last minute. Right before Ma'ariv, I think after Ma'ariv. And Fabrengen started officially 10. It said that it started 10 to 9. They came in. They started Nigunim. You can hear it. They start first. I think Mitzrayim Galtanu, or Allah. I think Mitzrayim Galtanu, and then it stops. The Rebbe starts. The Rebbe says, "We'll sing Ano Avda de Chodsheichem." And they sing Ano Avda. It stops in the middle, like the Rebbe stops in the middle, and they start the Maamar Niggin. They sing the Maamar Niggin, the first stanza, the first bava. And after the first bava, it stops. They start going up, and it stops. Right when you go to the Maamar. So they start going up. Right away, it stops. So it starts the Maamar. Uberoshei, Chodsheichem, Takrivu. So right when you chap, right, so here behind the Maamar, and after the Maamar, there's a Yaman over here. I think I mentioned it then. It's hard to know exactly that they found it later that President Ford said a speech then. Sheikhs Eretz Yisrael. We already tried to figure out what exactly happened there, and good luck. Fine, but in the Get Eretz Yisrael, and then it was a short Fabrengen. See the whole Fabrengen. It's about 32 minutes back the Maamar, and then the rest of the Fabrengen is a half hour, 2 short sichos. The Rebbe left, or Birchas Hamazon was 10:10. Fabrengen started about 9. So it was a drop over an hour. A very geschmack Fabrengen. Could listen to it. And it was a big story about Mivtzoyim. That was the story. Now this Maamar, so they say it seems like it was connected to Chodsheichem and Eretz Yisrael. There was something going on. And here in this Maamar you see that the Rebbe kochs in the first Rashi. In Koyach Masav Higid La'amoy, Laslam Machas Goyim, Bereshis, right? There's many sichas about Shleimus Haaretz. This is a shtickle, a Maamar of Shleimus Haaretz. The Maamar read wegen a par in Yonim. You look at the first two Rashis al Torah, it speaks about Chut HaMeshulish. Three priorities, the three top in Yonim in Elam Hazeh. What are the three in Yonim? So the first Rashi speaks about Eretz Yisrael. What does the second Rashi speak about? Bereshis Shil Beis Reishis. Yisrael and Torah. Right, so you have sometimes Meret Vegen Derai, Meret Vegen Yisrael, Eiraisa V'Kutchabrichu. Those three. But that's Kutchabrichu. But in Welt, in other words, when we're speaking about the representatives of the Eibush there, Shleimus Ha'am, Shleimus Haaretz, Shleimus HaTorah. Yeah, the three Shleimus. You see the three Shleimus in our Be'etzim, right in the beginning of Torah, right? Rashi starts off. We see the Torah starts off with this Nekuda. Bereshis, right off the bat. Bereshis. Why we start with Bereshis? Eretz Yisrael. And then what is Bereshis? Beis Bereshis, Yisrael and Torah. So we see this Maamar speaks about. See, it's a special Maamar. There's not a lot of Maamar like this. Eretz Yisrael, Yisrael and Torah. I would ask you, what's the Nekud of the Maamar? Kinog in the Shiurim. Avremo maybe in Mizake the Oilam Zachanam Shleifanav Shleifanav. What's the Nekud of the Maamar? Or you got to at least. So particularly the Red the Zelda Sugis. It's a Hemshech of the Master Maamar. So it speaks, which is what? Which Nekuda? Which is which Nekuda? Right, which what's in the Kud of the last couple of Maamarim? What do we speak about? So Megared wegen Kimetzeischam Eretz Mitzrayim Arenu Niflois. So on the one hand, we're saying that the Tachlis when Mashiach comes, but we're saying that what's going to happen when Mashiach comes is all Kimetzeischam. It's all Mitzag Mitzrayim Eretz Mitzrayim. So there was Nisim Niflois by Gula of Mitzrayim. There'll be Nisim Niflois by Gula Asida. There was Bekias Hayam. There's going to be Bekias Hanar. Kriyas Yamsuf. Bekias Hanar. What's the pasuk that he brings? That Hafach Yom Le'Yabasha Benar Yavru B'Ragel, right? Etc. Right, but what are we trying to get at? Okay, so we got the points. It all started. He sees Mitzrayim. First of all, Baruch Hashem, we're almost holding Sibim, just in case we didn't realize. Learn Maamar Rosh Chodesh for the upcoming Rosh Chodesh. Or actually, I'm still stuck in this. It's still very smacking. But what's in the Kud? What are we trying to bring out? What's happening here? And it's a long Maamar, even though it's a half hour, but it's from the previous Maamarim, it's 10 pages over here. There's a lot of content, a lot of Gishmakim. Let's see it, to listen to the Maamar, just 32 minutes with a couple minutes before and after. The Nigunim, you push to see how the Rebbe starts. Let me see, I tried to download it. But it didn't download. Let's see if there is some service here, yeah. Let's see. No, so I don't have. No, I used to be able to download it. Okay. Anyways.
Everything is similar to them.
Oh, there you go. Like, say that. It all comes from Kriyas Yam.
Last time, who cares? Sibba, Nishla, Sibba, Hemshech, what's the...
Right. No, so the Nekud he brought out last Maamar is the Chap, that if the whole Gula Sida comes from Yis Mitzrayim, so Kum is that already today we have the Gula Sida, and in a way there's a Maila today, in the Avodah of today, over Gula Sida. Right, that's why he finished off the Maamar. That the mitzvahs of today, Dafke, have a certain Maila, Yafes Shoachas Elam Hazeh, Mikol Chai Elam Habo, including Yemei Mashiach. Because it all starts by Yitzias Mitzrayim. So we had that Nekuda there, and it seems like he also mentions it of Epis in this Maamar as well. But what's the Nekuda we're trying to bring out over here? So it says that it's not, I don't say it's 100% klar, in other words, certain things that Rebbe left. It seems like a lot of inyanim. Oh, so but I want to say that listening to the way that Rebbe says the Maamar, it seems to me, after yes, there is a certain nekuda here. In other words, the Rebbe speaks of many different inyanim, but what's the thread, right? And that's the kunz. I always try to bring out this point. There's these Maamarim, sometimes it's 5 pages, 10 pages, There's a lot of Geshmaka content. The very Geshmaka, and the Murdik of here with the Baal Shem Tov we'll get to soon. Mamish, I don't know if you got there yet. The very Geshmaka of Baal Shem Tov, haven't seen it, Bechlal, and the Rebbe's Torah. But what's it trying to bring out? And that's what I was mocked in the beginning, that there's Eretz, Shleimus HaAretz, Shleimus HaAm, and Shleimus HaTorah, right? There's Eretz, Am, Eretz Yisrael, and Torah. And how they sort of intersect with each other, and what each one's bringing to the table, and why do we need it? So Behektim, like I said, this is a Maamar. It speaks about this Rashi, but there's many Sich that speak about this Rashi, right? I'm sure if you heard Shleimus HaAretz Sich, there were Fabrengens, Parshas Bereshis, that the Rebbe read the Rashi by the Fabrengen, right? The Rebbe was Meirichet. And the Rebbe asked that it should be said over, and this should be the response we give all over the world. And when the Israeli president came, Herzog, his father, the Rebbe said that he should say this Indian, and also that he's a Levi, so Chevron belongs to him. Mars Machpelah. The Rebbe wanted it. It's not just a few Bachrim speaking the back of 70 and have what to speak about by Tashlich. It's not the Nekuda. Not taking away the chshivus of Samret by Tashlich, but the Nekuda is that this is like in the real world, Hastus, yeah, like really, like you're going to the halls of power, you're going to the UN, you're going to Washington, you're going to places you have to speak all sophisticated and chashuv and politically correct. Bereshis Aleph Aleph, right? There's the Rashi. One of the sichos, the Rebbe Gereta Zoy. God, this wasn't a Sikha, Parshas Bereshis. I don't think it was a Bereshis Sikha, but the Rebbe Gereta Zoy. And really, it gives much deeper perspective to what's really going on. Like, what tak is this obsession with Eretz Yisrael? It's crazy. Yeah, what's going on now? It's for forever, but especially the last few years. And every time you think that it calms down, it comes right back. The ganze Welt, not millions, billions of people. All the news going on and everything that entertains them and that makes them angry. And people following them. What's the number one obsession? And even when they go into other things, and now they're speaking about the Olympics or speaking about this, it's a matter of time they come right back to the real important thing. What's the real issues? This little basically little island. I don't even know island. It's like nothing. It's like a sliver of land in the corner of the Middle East, like less than 1% of that whole shetach over there. It's nothing. What are we? We're 0.2 percent. This little shetach there with 10 million people, and people can't get over it. There's wars happening all over the place. People killing each other in every medina all around in Africa, in the Middle East. Who knows where? The ganze Welt can't move on from Eretz Yisrael. And listem atem you're ganovim. America is Gigamvit, and every other country in the world is Gigamvit, and there's almost no country around today that you go back 1,000 years, it's the same nation that's there. Everyone colonized the other guy. So what's machen sich mit Shug? Yeah. There's something that's an obsession there. But what's the reason? What's the reason? Right? Leilum tries to figure out where does anti-Semitism come from? Where does anti-Eretz Yisrael come from? Anti-Semitism is much bigger, so I'm not going to get into that at the moment. We'll connect it right there. But let's speak about anti-Eretz Yisrael, even though Mataina that anti-Eretz Yisrael is the Pneumius. Fine. But where's the Taina come from? How do some people have that Taina? And also, let's even say they do have the Taina. Like, why is that hard? We change the Torah. We put in something into Torah that's not l'chayra when they get to the Yidden, when we get to Torah. It's when we get to what the Goyim will say. And where do we put it in the beginning of Torah? Before everything else, that's how we start off Torah. It's like a guy comes, I want to learn Torah. Okay, let me tell you. People are going to tell you. Listim atem. Teach a guy Seres Adibris, which is the way Torah was supposed to start. So start with Nechir Alikecha. Teach him a Seres Adibris. Teach him about the Eibishter. Teach him about Torah Mitzvahs. Whatever. Tefillin, anything. Put on tefillin. No, you walk in the street. The first thing you say, Eretz Yisrael. Like now, even if you don't want to, they force you to speak Eretz Yisrael. It's like you have nothing else to say. But how does this come to the beginning of Torah? How does it? It almost feels like some outside apologetics, how to answer the Goyim, becomes the Yesod of what Torah is. So in the Sikha, there was a Meir Dikavart. What taka is their taina? Like everyone steals from it, right? Everyone takes over. Everyone colonized the other guy. You ever try to figure out the borders of Europe from like a few hundred years ago? You can never figure it out because literally every year the borders where are your Elta Zeta coming from? Well, it depends. And this year he was in this country, and then the border moved to the other street, and then it moved 5 blocks down, and then moved to the other city, and then the whole city was killed. It's like whatever. It's like it developed. Whatever. I'm not here to give a. Yeah, whatever. But like what's the taina? And also, listim matem shekvarshtem artzis shiva goyim. All right, we conquered the land of 7 nations. And that's why the goyim of the world, right? Where, as Rebbe said a few times, Rashi, where did he write this? In Troyes, in France, right? And in Europe, the French were coming at times. In other words, wherever you know where do the French come? Would the French have a claim to Eretz Yisrael? Which mandate? The British mandate? The Turkish? When did the French have a Baal Ma'askir? Like was Mishra Zicharain? It's Shiva Goyim. Why are the Shiva Goyim? We have a dispute with them. Okay, let's fight it out. Let's argue it out. Why in the UN and whatever every country in the EU, yet they're talking about achrozes and sanctions and declarations and your country's doing just fine. Like what are you mixing into our business? So Rebbe said like this: Be'etzem, they haben eine richtige Taina. They have a taina, and because of this taina, that's why Torah starts off with it. And this taina is the goyim, and this taina is also the goy asher v'kol echad v'echad. But it's chassidische goy. It's chassidische goy. What's this taina? Taina is like this. Every nation in the world has a country, right? That's part of our taina. That we deserve a country. Yeah, some Jews, the Jews have one country, one Jewish state. Yeah, these days. Why does everyone have a state? Why does everyone have a country? Every other nation in the world, what is their nationality? What is their identity? Who are they? Their country. I'm American. I'm French. I'm English. I'm Australian. Yeah, that's their mahus. What's the mahus of a yid? I'm Israeli. Chas v'shalom. Who tried to make it that way? Zionism. Right, that was Zionism's thing. That every gam tzipor matzah bayis kilo, everyone has their home and everyone has their what I'm avad loy oid I'm avad just
He said after the speech, first I'm a yid and then I'm a
yeah. I'm saying that was the zach. That we also deserve, and if we'll have a nationhood, we'll have a nationality, then everything will be fine, we'll be saved, then there won't be another world war, there won't be another Holocaust. But that's a mistake, right? Gdei Yisrael fought it tooth and nail, and the Rebbeim were the Eish Lahava about it. The Rebbe Marash at the time, the Bilu, the organization bringing Eretz Yisrael, came, and there was pogroms then in Europe, and the idea was to come up with hundreds of thousands of Yidden in Eretz Yisrael. And the Rebbe Marash, I believe the Rebbe Marash said that Be'etzem, he would go along with them. He would have brought, he would have given out a Hidah, tens of thousands, hundreds, I'm not sure what the lesson there is. Many Yidden would have gone to Eretz Yisrael. Abervas, he said only if they add 2 words. Bilu, what's Bilu? Bilu is Rosh Tevis, Beis Yaakov L'chu V'nelcha. So he said if he would add Ba'ir Hashem, I would have sent Ribu Yidden to Eretz Yisrael. They took out Ba'ir Hashem, because that was part of the idea. Take out Judaism, take out Yiddishkeit, take out Jewish identity. What's the new Jewish identity? Israelism, right? Zionism. That's the issue with Zionism. It's not all other things are just a distraction. But the Yisoid is there's a problem here. It's an alternative to Yiddishkeit. So Be'etzem, the anti-Zionism movement at the core, but mitzad etzem nafsham. I'm not sure at this stage it's already so many dargis after that, but at the core, what they're screaming is they're saying, "What are you guys doing? Was hat a land? That's what you guys want. One kasher land. Torah mitzvahs. Etzem neshama. You guys should be on the hilltops, but not of Yudan and Shomron. You should be in India." Doing meditation, like what do you? Maybe that's why. Maybe that's what previous. That's why all the Israelis. That's why they all end up. Something pulls them. Right? Like what are you doing here? What are you fighting over? Like, no one fights over their land. Like, did you get over thousands of years and there's fights? Why is everyone else fighting over it? Because what are you guys doing there? You don't deserve to have it. You're hecher different. It's almost like Romak will goyim avai. The goyim say Romak will goyim. The Eivishter's hecher. They say the Yidden are hecher different. What are you mixing in? What are you having a land? Makash are into a land. French have a land. The British have a land. Spanish have a land. Jews, why should they have a land? No, zenen gerecht, yeah. What's the answer? The answer is you're right, but you're wrong. You're right that our land is not our land is not that we should be part of the family of nations, and we should also have a seat at the table in the UN. We should also be also have nationhood. No, that's not who we are. We're not Israelis. We're Jews. We're Yidden. So why do we get a land? And this is why it's in the beginning of Torah. Because by the Eibishter giving us a land, it's a fundamental difference between any other land and the way we have a land. Everyone else has a land that's their nationhood. We have a land because the land is our shlichus. The Eibishter gives us Torah. What is Torah? Yes, it's Nechei Vayalikecha, but Torah at the core is Torah Moshe Neirah. Torah is the shlichus. Torah is our mandate, our mission. What's our mission? Nachdar Yisrael. Our mission is to take the world, the physical world, and elevate it, right? Skafian, then ishapche chasheichel inohira to kedusha. Where does that manifest itself in the purest way and the most goli dekoifin? Eretz Yisrael. That's why many of the mitzvahs are only done in Eretz Yisrael, and done b'shleimus in Eretz Yisrael. Eretz because that's the place where the Eivishter Shechina comes into this world, and that's the land where we take the land itself. Mitzvahs, what's the lashon? No, it's just mitzvahs of Tluyas Ba'aretz, right? Tluyas Ba'aretz, where the land itself is holy. We take the land itself, we take the place itself, we make it a Makom Shel Kedusha. But it doesn't just stay in Eretz Yisrael. It starts off in Eretz Yisrael, and then our mandate is Machta Eretz Yisrael. The entire world should become Eretz Yisrael. Asida Eretz Yisrael should be B'chol Haaretz. That's why Torah starts with Eretz Yisrael. And that's why we're given a land. We're given a land as a place that this is going to show. You want to know what it means to be Jewish? You want to know how Jewish living looks? You want to know how Gilead Kus, through the Eibishter's emissaries and ambassadors in this world, looks like? Look at the way they run their country. Which is why there was so much hurt and so much pain with the way Eretz Yisrael, the modern state, started. We were given such a matana, we were given such a gift momayla, we were given such an opportunity, and instead of running it via the Eibishterville, what did they do? They took this gift, gave him a patch and panim, another secular state, and we'll show you how to run a secular state. You guys think you're secular? We know how to be secular. That's the problem. Okay, so that's Eretz Yisrael. That verbringen, it's this nekud is in nekud sichus. It's in Parshas Chilik Lamed, Parshas Vayechi. Most of the sichus are in Bereshis. This is actually a Vayechi sicha. Vayechi, I think it's from Tov Shemem Vav, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, many sichus have, and I'm sure there's many similar oisias, but this vort, it's from this sich in Chilik Lamed. Chilik Lamed, Parshas Vayechi. See it over there. It's a chilik of the sicha. But there's a chilik hey sicha, there's a chilik chaf sicha, Bereshis. But we're saying, but this nekuda and these oisias is over there. But it was the kilo being matzik. The goyis taina, the goyim's taina. Anyway, okay. So what's happening over here? So Eretz Yisrael is basically fulfilling that mandate. What is the mandate? The mandate is that Jews should be Mekayim Torah mitzvahs in this world. So Jews are the ones that do it. What do they do? Torah mitzvahs. When Jews fulfill Torah mitzvahs in this world, they're making this world into Eretz Yisrael. Right? So that's Yisrael, Torah, Eretz. Eretz Yisrael. And different psukim and Chazal that he brings here throughout. But there's an akuda that he brings here, and this is an akuda that I believe, at least, I don't know if the whole Maamar, at least part of the Maamar is trying to bring out. It's all good, right? Yisrael's going to be fine.
Cut out the whole entire video.
Ad kedei kach. So there's a word here in the Maamar where basically he speaks about Yisrael shelamayla shekadmu la'olam, but then Yisrael in this world. Remember you saw it? Trying to find the it's in the second half, yeah? Wait 1 second. No, right over here. Here, page 47. Page 47. Zchera dascha kanisa kedem. Remember your Ada, your people, which you acquired, kedem. Way back, right? In the beginning. So it says in Zchera dascha kanisa kedem, so there's 2 nekudas over here. There's kanisa kedem, how the Eibishter, before the world was created, before anything came into existence, the Eibishter acquired and was koine the Yidden, right? We're the original Kinyan. Yisrael kadmu la'olam. We precede everything. The reason for the world and the purpose of the world is because of Yidden. Yidden are the Yisoid. But there's another Piddush, he says in the 4th line, that we ask there should be a pu'ul of Kanisa. That even now the Yidden, so this Kanisa Kedem already happened in the past, that we're kadmu la'olam. They've already chose us. We preceded, right? We're the cause of everything. But now, then we're asking for now an active Kanisa. That the Eibishter now, while we're in Golus and we need a goal, the Eibishter should re-choose us. Should reaffirm that choice and take us out of Golus. And he says that they're connected one to another, these 2 Perushim. Mitzad, the fact that the Eibishter chose us, Likinyon, before Brias Oilam, Machshavtan Shal Yisrael Kadmon Chadavar, we precede everything. This brings about that even when the Yidden are in a matzah that they need Gola, they're not living up to who they are, they're not living up to their name. The Eibishter remembers us, and it's this Eirus by him of who we are, where we come from, and then in the world, the way the Yidden are in this world and in their matzah down here, the Mailas Yisrael mitzad Sharsham is Niskala, and that brings Gal Tashem and Nachasach Artzin Shchantabay to go to Eretz Yisrael. That also, but it seems, and this is based off the Hemshech also, it seems like it was like this. There's this triangle, right? Yisrael, Torah, Eretz. Yisrael, what is the element of Yisrael? Also, previous time when we talk about this, Yisrael, the Torah, mi kadam lemi. Yisrael is that which precedes everything. It is almost like the platform. The platform for our whole avodah, the whole shlichus, the whole Torah, the whole Yiddishkeit, the whole Brias Ha'olam, in the bigger picture, it starts between the Ava of the Eibishter to the Yidden. So Ben Yachid. The Eibishter has a child, and as the Rebbe brings the Teres Hamagid very often, that the Chiddush by the Eibishter over his relationship to us and the Neshama is over a regular father and son, that a father has in his mind the tzir of his child, but only after the child is born, because he knows how the child looks. But the Eibishter, it's even Koydem Brias, even Koydem Shnivra Yisrael. Even before we're born into existence, we're in his mind, right? He's being Metzayer us. So Yisrael is like the whiteboard where it all begins. That's the starting point. That's the okay. Without that, where are we going? There's Yidden, and the Eibishter loves the Yidden. The Eibishter wants the Yidden. Okay, but now that is in a way that sort of precedes everything before it's all expressed, before it's all revealed. But now we want that Ava to the Yidden and that Gilui Likus that comes through Neshamas Yisrael should be brought down into this world, in the nitty-gritty of this world, and not only as the cause and what that precedes the world, but actually while things are going on, and all the tough things going on, and in the ups and downs, right, of history, that should come down into this world. How does it come down to this world? How does the etzem of Yisrael come down into this world? So we ask the Eibishter, you should remember us, and give us that strength, and that strength comes out through what? Through Torah mitzvahs. Right, so Torah mitzvahs is actually bringing that gilui, that tremendous gilui, into this world. So he speaks about like what's the ikar? Is the ikar Matan Torah, or Tziyas Mitzrayim, or Kriyas Yamsuf? Right, there's many different elements over here. He says it all starts by Tziyas Mitzrayim. What's Tziyas Mitzrayim? The gilui of the etzem of the Yid. They took us out of Golos, the lowest place. They was Megal the Neshama of the Yid, and then that leads to Torah, which in the Kudah of Torah is that even in the lowest place, there's Tumah, etc., you learn Torah, Leikai Dvarei Keish, have the Kedusha of Torah. And that brings us to Eretz Yisrael. And then when a Yidden, no matter where they are in Golos, they come in touch with the Esem, Kanisa Kedem, the Kadmus of a Yid. How a Yid comes far out. The Yid is the Yisoid of everything. And no matter what's going on and how low a Yid, what's going on in my life, a Bacha remembers, I'm higher than all this. I'm greater than all of this. All of this is not Tepes Makim at me. Right? Come far out. Come far out. Everything here is to serve me, l'sham sheni. And then when you get in touch with that, and that expresses itself in, okay, so Mimela, Nocha Maamar, Nocha Sicha, right, another Daf Gemara, another Halacha, whatever it is, in Limud HaTorah, and then Kima Mitzvahs. So then what you have is, you have that Gilui of that, right, what the Six of Allah in this Maamar, the Hechst in Yonim, in the lowest in Yonim, right, that's the Kriyas Yamsuf. Om Diskaske and Om Disgalia. And Zaskala here in this world, and that brings you to Eretz Yisrael. And that's in the Kudah Machta Eretz Yisrael, that a Yid's Megala his Neshama, and is Mekayim Torah Mitzvahs. And that leads to Eretz Yisrael, because that's the goal of actually changing, making this world itself Nadir B'Tachtonim, through the Gili of Yisrael and Torah. Just say a certain, just want to bring up this vart, it's a very, very Geshmak vart. There's a vart here of the Baal Shem Tov. Look at page 52. There it brings a vart from the Friedrich Rebbe Shem, the Baal Shem Tov, there's the Baal Shem Tov. The pasuk says, "Cher havaye meha yalanu habito re'eyes cher paseinu." What's the pshat of this pasuk? It's a pasuk in Eicha. Cher havaye meha yalanu habito re'eyes cher paseinu. The Eibishter, remember what happened to us. What happened to us? Read Eicha, all the terrible things that happened to us. Sorry, Habit or Eis Cherposeinu. Look closely and see as Cherposeinu are or Busha, or embarrassment, or Cherpa. It's an embarrassment, more than embarrassment. That would be the right word. Shanda, yeah, it's bushes. Meir de Kapirish. We know the Chassidus Dach Mevar the Pnimius. And the Pnimius, even the Klolis, as a Tatalei and Terzachnish Klolis, yeah? The Klolis are the biggest brachas. And Eicha and Kinnis are the Pnimius, the deepest in Yonim. Right? The Pirish of Chassidus on Eicha. So there's a lot of Biurim, the Pasha explained, the Pnimius are Indians. What's the Vart over here? A few lines later. The line starts Habal Shem Tiv, the end of the line, that the Eibishter Hashem Yizker es Pchinas Hameh. Meh Hayalanu. Pchinas Hameh, Hamah Shebekol Echdechem Yisrael. We say, Hashem, remind yourself, remember the Ma, remember the Mo'avai Lekecha, the Bittul, the Pnimius of every Yid. Okay, when you see the Pnimius of every Yid, Re'ez Cherposeinu, what's Cherposeinu? The Yires Cherposeinu Shemitzad Pchinas Ma. Which means, I know Eich Shagam Apshutim Sheb Yisrael, Mecharfim Es Nafsham B'Mesiras Nefesh, Las Is Toiva Liyehudi. Chiruf HaNefesh, Mesiras Nefesh. They throw themselves out there, put their lives on the line. See the bittul of a Yid, the pnimius of a Yid, that every Yid, even the most pashta Yid, will put his life on the line to do a toiva Yid. Mitzadav es Yisrael. That's the pnimius of the pasuk. Zchoir Hashem mehoyalanu, habito re'eyes cherposein. Look at remember, see the mah that every Yid has, and see how every Yid is ready to put it all out there. Lay it all out there. So health in Nocha Yidin. So that's a rather sentence. The Rebbe connects it to, based on what we were saying before. The base of a Teres Baal Shem Tiv. Hafta l'recha kamoicha is one with Hafta Savai Lekecha. So Hafta Savai Lekecha, we know Tanya tells us is the Yisoid of Ramach Mitzvah Seseh, and then through that the Yisoid of Mitzvah Seseh, everything's miyosed on Hafta Seshem Lekecha. So Hafta Seshem Lekecha, Hafta l'recha kamoicha are one. Hafta l'recha kamoicha is not just Hafta l'recha kamoicha. It's all of Torah mitzvahs. So we were seeing the pnimius of a Yid, we say that every Yid's ready to put their life on the line for Abbas Yisrael. It means that every Yid's ready to put their life on the line for all of Torah mitzvahs. If Yidden are ready to give their life over for another Yid, that's the pnimius of God's Torah mitzvahs.